I'm Ashley Giffen, and this is my summary of the first meditation. Doubt. What is doubt? Is it a feeling, a way of thinking, an innate mentality? Or better yet, is it something programmed into us by some higher being? Although we may never truly understand what the term doubt actually is or where it even comes from, we do most definitely know it exists. It is in our nature to experience doubt on a day-to-day basis. Doubt is what Descartes was feeling when he wrote the Meditations on the First Philosophy. It was this feeling of doubt that led him to write all 6 meditations, or as we would call them, chapters, on the doubts he felt and his ideas to correct all known doubts of the universe. In his first meditation, Descartes focuses simply on the idea of doubt itself. He begins by firmly determining that he must once and for all seriously undertake to rid himself of all the opinions which he had formerly accepted. By voiding his mind of all things he once knew as true, he makes way for new truths to be found. His initial determination is not to doubt everything he has ever known or will know, but rather only to exclude the things which he cannot prove to be distinctly and clearly true. Through this reasoning, he manages to demonstrate some sense of sanity to his colleagues so as not to think of him as a complete imbecile. Only if he is able to find in each matter some reason to doubt, this will suffice to his rejecting the whole. With this belief in mind, Descartes prevents himself from having to look to all matters of the universe individually, but rather he could start at the premises in which each matter is built on. Not only does this save him a lot of time, but it also adds to the validity of his statements and thereby his credentials. Upon further reflection, Descartes decides that the foundations for everything he thinks he knows has come from, for the most part, his senses. But are our senses entirely reliable? For instance, we perceive through our sense of sight the sun is very small, but in fact the sun is larger than we can fathom. Therefore, our senses cannot be deemed entirely reliable to ascertain truth from, although for the most part our senses seem to be pretty sustainably accurate. Descartes goes on to realize that even our dreams are composed of things that we have sensed during the day. If we dream of a glass of water, then that glass of water was not just derived from our imagination. We had to experience the said glass and the said water with our senses in real life. This brings him to further question, how do we know the difference between real life and dream life? What if, in fact, when we think we are dreaming, we are in fact awake, and when we are awake, we are in fact dreaming? This confusing idea of a dream has come to be known as Descartes' dream argument. By concluding that our reality might in fact be a false perception, Descartes makes the argument that all composite ideas and situations, whether dream world or real world, are false and must be questioned. However, general things like eyes, a hand, a head, and a whole body are not imaginary things, but things that really exist. In other words, the individual parts that make up all composite parts could not have been manifested in our imagination, but must be considered certainly true. Although physics and chemistry may be doubted, the mathematic understandings which those sciences are built on may not be. The mathematical principle that 3 + 2 will always equal 5 cannot be questioned and therefore may not be doubted, affirming Descartes' belief in the certainty of the basic principles. But wait, what if even these simple ideas, like eyes and ears, are in fact false realities as well? It occurs to Descartes that perhaps, just perhaps, God has placed all of these false perceptions in our head. What if God has merely deceived us into believing everything we think we know is real? We do not exist. Nothing actually exists. But God is supposed to be supremely good and the foundation of truth. Why would such a majestic and supreme being deceive his creation? He wouldn't. Descartes rather despairingly realizes that the supreme being must be an evil genius, not less powerful than deceitful, who has employed his whole energies in deceiving him and the heavens and the earth with colored figures and sounds that are but the illusion and dreams of which this evil genius has availed in order to lay traps for his credulity. At this point, Descartes concludes his first meditation with the firm belief that everything around him, including himself, is a false perception. These ideas have been placed in his head by the evil demon himself in order to deceive Descartes and make his supposed objectivity of doubt an impossible feat. The end.